The Trump administration saying it will revise its travel order ban, and it doesn't want the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals to review the case again. This as President Trump announces that a new executive order on immigration is on its way next week. Boy, what a jam-packed day. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has been one of the leading forces in the state's move to back the president's original immigration ban. He joins us now to weigh in on all this. General Paxton, thank you for joining us. The Ninth Circuit, just to revisit something that the president said today, it is a very often overturned court. And when you read the decision, it got some things wrong. For example, it said that nobody from the 7 countries that would be part of the temporary travel ban, none of the people from those countries have been arrested in the United States. Well, in fact, a couple of dozen people from those 7 countries have been arrested here for terrorist activities. So it actually got some things wrong in their decision. I'm not surprised you don't want to go back.
Absolutely. That's not the only thing they got wrong. They based this on due process for non-resident aliens, which I've never heard of before. In addition, they failed to mention the law in this case, which is very clearly under federal law, the president has the authority to block entry, to restrict entry, and to do it as long as he thinks that he needs to do it if he views this as detrimental to the country. So, you know, we think they made a lot of mistakes, and that's part of the reason we wanted to file this amicus brief. By
the way, the law is clear. I mean, the law going back to 1952, some say it actually goes back even further than that, but it does specify the president has the right to decide issues about who can and cannot come into this country, right?
Yeah, and that's why this is so odd. The court didn't even discuss this very clear law. It was passed by Congress. It's statute. And they ignored this whole body of law to talk about a body of law that really we've never heard of before, which is giving constitutional rights to non-resident aliens, which means people that aren't even in this country.
Well, here's what the president said. He kind of teased what he's going to do today during his press conference. Let's play the soundbite.
We can tailor the order to that decision and get just about everything, in some ways more. But we're tailoring it now to the decision. We have some of the best lawyers in the country working on it.
If you have a Ninth Court that so misinterprets or actually puts things in the law that don't exist, what makes the president think that that same won't happen with a new order?
So I'm not sure, other than that hopefully with our amicus brief and other people speaking out, maybe the court will revisit this issue as a whole and actually look at the law as it is, you know, and maybe they'll make some tweaks that'll make it a little easier for the court. But hopefully this whole process will get the court back focused on what the actual law is, not something that's, you know, not appropriate to the circumstances of this case.
But given the conditions of the Ninth Circuit, as the president has said and many others have said, won't it come down eventually to a Supreme Court decision? And doesn't that mean that this stays in place at least until the Supreme Court decides on the ruling? And that would be a ninth. You'd have to wait for another Supreme Court justice to be accepted by the Senate.
You know, that's very possible, and maybe the process of going through a new executive order or new executive action gives time for the president to get this through the entire court and then ultimately to the Supreme Court. Because ultimately, either way, I'm guessing with so many states, you're going to see other states get involved. This is going to ultimately end up at the Supreme Court either way, I believe.
Ken Paxton, Texas Attorney General, thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate it.